Hello, my beautiful friends. Happy August. Can't believe I'm saying that. Today I'm going to be filming my July reading wrap-up, and boy, was July something. I have so many DNFs or just like lukewarm ratings for some of these books, especially thrillers, but just in general. It was not my strongest month. We definitely had some hits, but there were a lot of misses or just weird books that I was like, what is this? So let's go and hop in. As usual, my reading wrap up is sorted by category. We're going to start with cozy mysteries, go into a couple of just general mysteries, and then head into thrillers. So feel free to jump around. Okay, so let's start out by shouting out one of my favorite series that I just started that I actually already bought 2 more used books from the series in because I really loved it. And that's the Berry Basket Mystery Series by Sharon Farrow. The first one's called Dying for Strawberries, and I read this in my cozy mystery baking vlog that I did this month, which I will link above. This takes place in Michigan. It is a summer cozy. Our main character is Marley Jacob, and there's like a strawberry moon festival like bash going on with all these strawberry themed events, and our main character runs this berry shop. As you can kind of see on the cover, everything in the shop is like a berry emporium as they put it on the back. So I mean, there's jams, there's things to make berry things with, there's just everything berry, which I love. So each book is themed after a different berry. The next one is like blackberries, I think. And I loved this. I thought the mystery was really solid. I think the characters are really lively and interesting in this book, and I just had a great time. This was a 5-star read for me. I've been meaning to read this for a while. It was on my cozy mystery to start list for this year, which I'll link above, and this definitely didn't disappoint. I ended up buying 2 books in the series used because they are kind of hard to get your hands on. They're not on audio, unfortunately, and they're a little bit older, so I'm really excited for this one. Another knockout read for me this month that I'm so glad I finally got to is Hot Pot Murder by Jennifer J. Chow, and this is actually Thanksgiving cozy. I didn't realize that. I mean, really fun. You got like a hot pot Thanksgiving meal going on, which I love. And we have our main characters in this, Yale and Celine, who are cousins. They run a boba tea stand at this LA night market together, and her father, Yale's father, also runs like a restaurant they sometimes work at. Celine, her cousin, is an influencer. They have very different personalities. I love the dynamic dual energy with this one, and the mystery for this one was so good. Does anyone know, are there more books coming out in this? Because this is the most up-to-date book, and it came out in 2023, and I need more of Yale and Celine. I really do. I loved this. The mystery was great. I just loved the characters in this so much. I thought the plot line and like how it was solved was really unique. I loved the little bits of Thanksgiving and kind of leading up to Christmas stuff we had in here. I love the cousins' energy. I loved some of the emotional subplots, especially with Celine in this book, which I don't want to go into for spoiler reasons, but I loved this book. Does anyone know if more are coming out? Because I will be really sad if it's a 2-book series. A Wonderful Christmas Crime by Jacqueline Frost. This is an arc. I think the book is coming out this October. This is the 6th book in the Christmas Tree Farm mystery series, and like the others, it takes place in Mistletoe, Maine, with our main character Holly White and her family and friends, and this is just my favorite Christmas series. It's my favorite Christmas cozy. I started reading the year-round Christmas mystery series by Vicki Delaney, which I'll review in a minute as well, because I did like a Christmas in July thing, and I loved it. I loved both series, but the Christmas Tree Farm, it takes the cake, okay? I love Holly. I love her family. I love Theodore the goat. Her friend Cookie Cutter has a goat who is just adorable. I actually cried and laughed within like the first chapter or 2 of this book because of this emotional subplot. Definitely read this cozy mystery series in order. It's very important to read this one in order, and it doesn't really matter if you're looking for a seasonal Christmassy read. All of them take place like in December leading up to Christmas. So you could pick up any book and still get that seasonal fix. And I love it. The reindeer games at the farm, everything about this. It is the most Christmassy cozy mystery. The mysteries are consistently good. I love the characters. I love their subplots and growth, and I just want more. I want more. So I'm hoping another one will come out next year, but this is definitely a 5-star read for me. Speaking of Christmas, I did read the first one in Vicki Delaney's year-round Christmas mystery series. I did give this one like 4.5 stars or so. This is called God Rest Ye Murdered Gentlemen. I love it. I really do love it. I think it's fun. Our main character is Mary, and she works in this kind of like Christmas boutique. Like they sell like really nice, like, you know, like locally made Christmas ornaments and things like that, and I love it. I love hearing about the shop. I think that is super interesting. I love her best friend who's a baker. I thought the mystery for this was great. I loved the kind of focus on the town's inner workings as a tourist-driven town. I thought that was super interesting. They have some competition in the area for like other Christmassy places, which I thought was interesting. The mystery itself was excellent. I definitely plan on continuing this series. It's a very good series. The Christmas Tree Farm one I'm just a little more attached to because I've read more of, but we could see if it's a contender in the long run. We'll see. A DNF for me was Defending Angels by Mary Stanton. This is a Beaufort and Company mystery, and this is a supernatural southern cozy mystery where the main character is taking over like this office in the middle of a cemetery, and she's a lawyer and she starts to help like a ghost who was recently murdered solve their case. I love the premise. I thought this was super fun. I did this for my Summerween reading vlog, which I'll link both of those above. I just couldn't get into the story or the character. I just didn't care. Like, I was reading this and I was like, I don't know, I don't care. I don't know why. I want to. Like, I read like 80 some pages and nothing really clicked, so I put it aside. I don't know why. I love the premise. I love the cover. I just couldn't get into this. I don't know. I don't think I connected to Bree, the main character. I just wanted something and I wasn't getting it, so unfortunately this was a DNF for me. Tightening the Threads by Leah Waite. This is the 5th in the mainly needlepoint mystery series. I've jumped all over with this series. I think this was the 4th book I've read in it, and it was great. This was a September cozy mystery, and our main character in this helps to run this mainly needlepoint group that her grandmother started. She's kind of like the business brains behind it, like the admin. And in this one, she's helping a friend who has recently discovered they're related to this famous artist in the area. They get involved in this like will battle with his kids and everything. It's really dramatic. And she's invited to the 75th birthday party of this man who's going to announce to everyone that her friend, Angie's friend, is like a relative of his. You kind of get into the details. It's very interesting. If you are someone who likes Laura Child's Tea Shop mystery series because you like some of the history and the culture and stuff that's incorporated into the storylines, I feel like you might like Leah Waite. I feel like the mainly needlepoint series also does that. There's a lot of great history. I never realized how much history was wrapped up into needlecraft and different fabric arts. It makes sense because people are conveying stories and quotes and things from that time. I just never thought of it before this, and I really love that aspect of this. So this was a great mystery for me. This was a 5-star read. I listened to it on audio. I really love this series. I was so interested in his kids and seeing, you know, who done it, because you kind of think that someone on the premises for this birthday party is behind a murder, and you're kind of like, you know, so the closed setting going on and you're like just on the edge of your seat, like, is it this person? Is it this person? Oh, it was really good, and just the method and things, how things were carried out, I thought was fascinating. So I absolutely loved this. I think it's a great main cozy mystery series. It's one that I really enjoy. Dead, White, and Blue by Annie McEwen. This is the 2nd in the Northwoods mystery series. I love this. I love this so much. This is a 4th of July one. I mean, pretty obviously from the front here. Takes place in the Wisconsin Northwoods. Our main character is Emmy Cooper, and she helps her family run Cooper's Cove, which is this kind of collection of these little resort cabins, cottages on a lake. So super beautiful, like kind of hotel cozy, if you will. Much better with the cabin setting, I think, but you get the point. I love this. I love this so much. I love Emmy and her family and her friends. I feel like she can be a little immature with her friends sometimes. They are real goofballs, but it's just so endearing. I love the setting. I love her dogs. I thought the mystery for this was really good. I actually was completely fooled by a red herring. I thought I had it. I was completely stumped. I was like, oh. But it was like a really good reveal. I was like, oh, it's satisfying. Okay, so I really enjoyed this. I definitely plan on continuing this series. Really solid read. Yeah, I can't wait. And the 3rd book in the series, I think it's Snow Time to Die. It's a wintry one, I'm assuming, with snow. So I love it. I love winter. I think it's a closed, isolated mystery too. Can't wait for that, but this was a fantastic read. I also read Cappuccinos, Cupcakes, and A Corpse by Harper Lynn, and this had like an Italian-American sleuth. I listened to this on audio at the beginning of the month. Honestly, don't remember a whole lot about it. It was just kind of a fun, lighthearted read, but she basically finds a neighbor who is deceased. This is like, I think, the father of one of her childhood friends in the area. She gets involved in the case. I believe she lost her mother years before, so she's kind of reeling from that. She's running this cafe. She does all these beautiful like cappuccino art, which I love hearing about. I think that is so fun, but it was just a really fun, cozy audiobook. It didn't stand out in like a huge way, but it was a solid 3.5 to 4 stars. I plan on continuing the series. I had a fun time with it. I think it's a fun cafe series, and I'm on the hunt for some more if you have recommendations. Grimoires and Gingerbread by Danielle Garrett. This is one of the Sugar Shack Witch Mystery Series novellas. It's between, I think, book 1 and 2. And this was the cutest Christmassy cozy mystery where the main characters actually get to help Santa and like his elves. So look, again, I mean, it's a Sugar Shack Witch Mystery Series. It is supernatural. The main characters all have like magical abilities. It's in this like magical, they live in this like magical pocket of a town where everyone there has magical abilities to some degree. For some, it's very mild, minor abilities. Some have very supernatural abilities, very powerful witches and wizards, full-on mystical creatures like mermaids. It's really fun, but this one had a mystery in the woods with those elves from Santa's shop showing up, which was so fun. I loved it. I mean, it was a really fun and goofy time. It was a short novella, very quick read, like 2 hours or something, and I definitely plan on continuing the series. This is my favorite, more heavily supernatural series. It just has such charm, and I love the main character, Rosella. I don't want to give away anything about her powers and abilities, because that's kind of a plot point in book 1, but they're really interesting, so I really love that. I love her unique character arc with that, and I won't say anything else for spoiler reasons, but if you like, even if you're not a big supernatural reader, I would check it out, because I wouldn't consider myself the biggest supernatural cozy fan, but this one just has so much heart, and I just love it so much. Escape Clause by Linda Riley. This is lovely. This is the Cat Lady Cozy Mystery Series. Our main character basically comes back to help her aunt, who's kind of the town's cat lady, and unfortunately she is really ailing. She's not able to take care of herself and her home and her many cats the way she once was. So her niece comes back and she kind of gets to work cleaning up the place and trying to figure out what to do to help her aunt and all of these cats that she has rescued. And it is such a heartwarming story. The mystery was great. I am so excited about this because I have read several books from the Linda Riley Grilled Cheese Mystery Series, and this might be a hot take. Let me know if you agree or disagree. But I like the Grilled Cheese Mystery Series, but I like the Cat Lady Mystery Series more. There's just something about the characters in this one that I connected with more, and I really liked the subplot with this main character trying to help her aunt and to really figure out how to support her aunt and the cats, and just as an animal lover myself, I don't know, something about that really appealed to me. And this is a Halloween fall cozy, as you can probably tell from the cover. So there were some really fun like jack-o'-lantern carving scenes and just fun cozy times like that. Her friend owns like a diner, so there's some great diner scenes in this. I loved this. I thought this was so good. So I definitely plan on continuing this series. I plan on probably continuing the Grilled Cheese series too, but I really love the Cat Lady series. Let me know if you've read both, which is your favorite. Death at a Country Mansion by Louise R. Ines. I listened to this on Audible and I liked this. I didn't realize going into this because the cover doesn't really suggest this, but the main character runs a salon. She's a hairstylist and I love that. One of my first cozies ever was the Bad Hair Day Mystery Series by Nancy J. Cohen, which features a hairstylist main character, and I really enjoyed that. This is an English one. It takes place in the English countryside, and our main character in this one is helping her friend who is very wealthy and is dealing with all of this drama after the death of her mother, who may have been murdered. And I just fell in love with this. It took me a little time to get used to the narrator, but once I did, I was hooked. The mystery was great, and if you are someone who hates the cozy mystery trope where the sleuth is constantly being lectured by the police, try this series, because in this one, the local police were actually pretty cool, and they were like, you know what? Let's talk this out, and they were kind of working together. So I really liked that. Peach Cobbler Poison by Diana Dumont. This is part of the Drunken Pie Cafe Mystery Series. This one was super lighthearted, super fun. I've never had a, as they call it, a boozy pie, but I thought this was really interesting. And yeah, again, this is one I don't remember a whole lot about, but it was a pleasant enough read, like 3.5 stars for me. I had a good time with it. I liked the main character. I loved this pie cafe setting. It's a very classic cozy mystery setup where the main character opens the place, she's trying to rack up business, and then someone dies in her shop, presumably from the pie, which kind of puts a bad reputation on her new cafe, and she has to solve the mystery because she's a suspect, and she's also trying to figure out what is happening. I was shocked by the ending. I thought the ending and the reveal, I don't know, I saw some people on Goodreads reviews saying it was obvious, and I was like, okay, well apparently I missed it because it was not obvious to me whatsoever, and I thought it was really clever, so I really liked it. I just think the idea of a drunken pie cafe is really cool, so I appreciate that. Thought it was really fun. Artifact by Gigi Pandian. Why did it take me so long to pick this book up? That is my why. 5 stars. I loved this so much. So our main character in this is Jaya, not Jaya. I've been saying Jaya. I'm so sorry. It's Jaya Jones, which reminds me of, and she's a doctor, so it's Dr. Jones, like Indiana Jones. So if you are someone who likes National Treasure, but put it on a worldwide scale, or, you know, Indiana Jones, if you like mysteries involving history and culture and treasure hunting, you've got to try this. So Jaya is this amazing character. I want to say she's like in her very late 20s, early 30s. She is a historian, and basically she gets this mysterious package from her ex with a very valuable ruby artifact, and she's supposed to reach out to her ex, Rupert, to get more details about why he sent her this, except he's dead. So she can't do that, and she's trying to figure out, what is this artifact? Did this artifact have something to do with his death, which is currently ruled an accident, but was it an accident? I don't know. This was brilliant, and it was such a fun, refreshing, different, cozy. Like I said, if you like Indiana Jones, National Treasure vibes, that sort of thing, I would pick this up. It was so fun. I already have the second book on my wish list. I need to check. I need to get it on Audible. The narrator was great. I loved all the different accents because they are traveling to different parts of the world. I won't give away which ones, but I loved this mystery. This was phenomenal. One of my favorite reads this entire month. Southern Sass and a Crispy Corpse by Kate Young. This was another cozy mystery baking one I did, and I liked this a lot. This was book 2 in the Mary Jean Brown mystery series. This is a southern kind of baking diner mystery series, and it is lightly supernatural. The main character can see her mother's ghost at times, because her mother is trying to kind of get penance for things she's done in her life. So it's kind of, I like it. It's an interesting supernatural plot. There's nothing else supernatural about it, so it's not heavily supernatural, but I like that. She has an interesting relationship with her sister. There's a whole lot of family subplots going on in this one, which I personally really like. The food references, the peachy deliciousness. Oh, I love it. I love it so much. And in this one, basically literally a crispy corpse is found in the ocean when she is swimming one day, and that kind of kicks off the mystery. I thought this was a really solid mystery. The reveal, oof. I gave it 3.5 stars because I just feel like the pacing on this one I wasn't as thrilled with as I was with the first book, but I thought the reveal and the subplots and stuff were still very solid, and I plan on finishing the 3rd and last in the series. Still a really fun read. I really enjoyed it. And then last but certainly not least, Murder on a Tuesday by Marcy Blessy. This is part of the, I always get the title of this wrong. It's part of the monthly Murder Club mystery series. I think I got that right. I feel like I always invert one of those words. This is a very found family heavy cozy. It's mostly a group of seniors and a single mom named April, who's like 38 or so. They meet once a month to watch a murder mystery on screen at the local movie theater, and they pause the movie halfway through and they all fill out cards with who they think done it, like the motive and everything, and then whoever's at the end of the movie, whoever's closest to the actual reveal gets the trophy for the week or for the month, which I love. I think it's so fun. But the found family in this will steal your heart. And in this one, they're trying to raise money to save this local movie theater because it's really in financial straits. So they actually have this really well-known actor and his like posse coming to town, and they're really excited about this because it's going to drum up business for the movie theater. And of course, someone ends up murdered. So they end up trying to solve it, and you will just fall in love with these characters. They just are so lovely. I cannot wait to continue this series, truly. I like Marcy Blessy's Tucson Valley Retirement Community one a lot as well. I want to continue that series as well. But this one has my heart by just a little bit more because the found family, oh, I love it. Definitely read this series in order. There's a lot of fun subplots that are building off each other with the characters. And if you like found family, this will just melt your heart. I love it. Whisking Up Whodunits by Eliza Floretta. This is the first in a grandmother-granddaughter duo mystery series. Oh, so fun. Our main character is Emma and Chloe. We kind of get to follow both of them. Emma is the grandmother. She works full-time running her own B&B with her husband. And can I just say, I love seeing happily married couples in cozy mysteries from like the start, from book one, because it's so common that the sleuth in the book is going through a divorce or has lost their spouse or they're single for one reason or another, and then like a romantic subplot happens, which is totally fine. But I really enjoy seeing a happily married couple in fiction because I feel like it's kind of rare, and I love that. Anyways, Emma has her granddaughter Chloe, who's 16, coming to visit for the summer because Chloe and her mother are having kind of a tricky time, so she takes Chloe off her hands, and what better to bond than solving the murder of her best friend's husband. That may not be a murder, but they think it might be. So they get involved with that. I loved this. So I mean, first and foremost, this is like a B&B cozy mystery, but it definitely has so many delicious food scenes. I love when you have a dynamic duo for sleuthing, but they are very different in their approach, oftentimes because they are different in age. And of course, in this one you have, I'm not sure exactly how old Emma is, but let's say she's at least in her late 60s, 70s, and then you have her 16-year-old granddaughter. So there is a really interesting difference in the way that they approach things, and I think it is so fun to see them come together. I love this plot of her trying to help Chloe with her mom. I thought this was just so heartfelt. I would say like a 3.75, round up to 4 stars. I really enjoyed this. Would recommend it. Would definitely want to read book 2. I had a great time with this. And this cover. Look at this cover. So fun. Okay, next I have a couple of general mysteries, including some historical mysteries and kind of cozy Agatha Christie mysteries, so stick around. I have Murder at the Wham Bam Club by Carolyn Marie Wilkins, which is the first in the Psychics and Soul Food mystery series. This just went on sale on July 29th. I was fortunate to get an ARC, and I love this. Our main character is Nola. She is approaching 21. She is a young widow. Her husband was a Harlem hellfighter, and unfortunately he passed away in the line of duty. So she is still reeling from that, and she's living with her Aunt Sarah, who is a full-blown psychic. And Nola herself has some psychic abilities that she's kind of developing. She gets involved helping her old schoolmistress for this like boarding school for young women that she went to, that she didn't have the greatest time with, but she went to. And she's trying to find this young girl, one of the students, who has disappeared, and is going to this place called the Wham Bam Club, which is basically kind of an illegal club where they have, you know, alcohol and gambling. This is during the Prohibition era, so it's not just that she's underage, but it's just not supposed to be open in general, and she goes kind of undercover at the school to find this young girl and try to collect clues and to figure out where she might be, and she goes exploring in this Wham Bam Club. And I will leave it at this. There are some really great soul food mentions because she does work for a catering company. I love the couple that runs the catering company. They seem like such cool people. I really, really loved them and all the food scenes. But Nola is a fantastic character. I thought I would like this for sure, but I loved it. I loved it. One of my favorite reads this month. Phenomenal writing. I just flew through this, and the fact that it's historical fiction and I was just flying through it, like could not put it down, says a lot, because sometimes I do have a harder time getting into historical fiction, and I loved this. I loved this so much. I'm so excited. I can't wait for more to come out in this series, hopefully very soon next year, because I need more Nola. Nola is great. She's practical, she's relatable, she's spunky, I really like her. I love everything about this book. Then I'm very proud to say that I finished Midsummer Mysteries by Agatha Christie, which is a short story collection of a bunch of her summary short stories. This includes, you know, Hercule Poirot, Miss Marple, standalones. I actually read I think it's Parker Pine, I'm not sure if I'm saying that right, but I really, really loved this. The last book in this, especially The Incredible Theft featuring Hercule Poirot, phenomenal. My mind was absolutely blown with that. And I'm so excited. This was on my summer TBR. I would say some of my favorites were The Double Clue, Jane in Search of a Job, and The Raj's Emerald, and The Incredible Theft, as I said. Those are some of my favorites, but this whole collection was really great. Very worthwhile. Really fun read. I just had to get myself in a pattern of reading short stories to finally finish this, but I'm on a roll now and I want more. This was really good. And then last but not least, we have Northwoods, which I would say it's like a mystery thriller situation. I read this for Summerween, which I did link above. So our main character in this is Eli North, and he is not okay. He is a detective on this small town police force. His mother is actually the sheriff, and that's probably the only reason he really has the job, because he is deeply struggling with alcoholism, so please keep that in mind. Very heavy focus on that. Basically, a local teenage boy is found dead in the lake, and a girl is soon discovered to be found missing as well. There are some links to the pharmaceutical industries, and he gets involved with his mother trying to solve this case and hunt down this teen girl. And above all else, this is a really compelling mystery, but it's about Eli trying to get redemption. He served in Afghanistan, which is what kind of led to some of his issues with alcoholism, because he's just reeling from that. His marriage is also over. His career has been failing. Just nothing's going for this man, unfortunately. And you're trying to see him get that chance at redemption. And that's what really got me with this book. I'd say I give this 4 stars. It was a really solid mystery, more character driven, which I like, especially because it's told from the eyes of law enforcement for the most part, and I really liked the setting. It was a very good, like, small town, creepy, ominous mystery. The Last Time I Lied by Riley Sager. This was one of my favorite thrillers this month. I read this for Summerween. I could not put this down. This involves a summer camp. We basically have our main character Emma, who was one out of 4 campers in this cabin, and those 3 girls, they were all older than her. Emma was a younger first-year camper. They all left in the middle of the night, never to come back. There was no bodies ever found, nothing. Like, nobody could find these girls, and some of them were quite wealthy. There was a lot of search effort put into finding them. Nothing happened, and now as an adult, Emma is invited to become like a camp counselor to watch a group at a cabin. And she is kind of anxious about going back, understandably, but she decides to face her fears and go back because she gets a very good offer to head back. And yeah, this is about that. It's about the last time I lied, and Riley Sager knocked it out of the park. This is one of my favorites from Riley Sager now. I still remember the ending for this so vividly. I mean, on multiple levels, but like the very last chapter for this, I was just like, no, wow, 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 okay. I was blown away by this. I thought this was such a good thriller. I truly could not put this down. So fascinating. You get to read both past timelines with her as a teenager at the camp, and then her present day timeline as an adult and camp counselor. And I found that to be so gripping. What I did not find gripping was A Likeable Woman by May Cobb. This is advertised as the thriller. It's more of a character study, except one of the 2 characters you're reading is really boring, if I'm being honest. I thought they were really boring. I wanted to love this so much. So our main character is Kira, and for the first time in many years, she's going back to her affluent small town in Texas where she grew up, and her mother mysteriously died when she was a teenager. And of course, this is, you know, very classic thriller setup. We're trying to figure out what happened to her mother all those years ago, because it was ruled as a situation where she took her own life. Notably, her grandmother is still in the area, and she gives Kira a memoir that her mother was writing leading up to her death. And this is going to provide her with new clues, hopefully, to figure out what happened to her mother. I thought this was just such, I don't know, it was just such a snooze fest. I was so interested for the first like half of this. I loved reading the mother's memoir. I thought that was fascinating. That was my favorite part by far. I thought her mother was a wildly fascinating person. And it's also, as you can maybe tell by this cover, it's a bit about the concept of why do women have to be likable. You know, like, there's a lot of emphasis on women being likable, and this kind of challenges that, and whether or not her daughter is following in her mother's footsteps or trying to, like, what is she trying to do, you know? But one, I found Kira to be the most just obnoxious and boring character. I really didn't like her. I thought she made such dumb decisions. I thought she missed so many obvious clues, and I just didn't like her. So as much as I enjoyed her mother's story, I felt like this could have been cut 50 pages. And if the main character had been a little more interesting, or like, maybe not even likable, but just someone I wanted to read who wasn't boring, that would have helped a lot. I Did Warn Her by San Gilbert. Oh, this was disappointing. I really loved She Started It, which was her debut last year, and this one was just kind of okay. It was average. It was fine. It was fine. So our main character in this is Sasha. You do get to read multiple points of views, but she's kind of the central character, and she is hired last minute to be a stewardess. Is it a stewardess? Is that what they call it? Yeah, a stewardess. On this yacht called the Ophelia, which I love the name. Love the name. And she notices something right away, and that's that all of the stewardess are very tall, thin, conventionally attractive blondes, and it's very eerie, like they could all be sisters. Then she also learns that one of them went missing and possibly like died on the last cruise, and she starts to look into that. Things also start to happen while they're in the middle of the water. Now, I love a closed setting. You know, they're in the middle of the ocean. It could only be someone on the boat sort of thing. So I flew through this. I loved this at first, but then the ending tried to do so many things, and it just kept watering down the impact of everything that was happening, because it just felt like, oh, you know, this person did this, but oh, surprise, it was actually this person. And it was just like, but it happened like so many times. I was like, okay, like it was just so many reveals, and just it lost all impact on me, I guess. And I don't know, it was fine, it was okay. It was like a 3-star thriller maybe. I don't know. I would definitely read more from this author, because I think they have a really interesting way with words. I like the setup, I like the multiple points of views. I thought they had some good twists and turns throughout the book, which I like, but I just didn't love the ending for this. Jar of Hearts by Jennifer Hillier. This is my 3rd Jennifer Hillier. This was the most brutal book I think I've ever read, or one of them. This is like a serial killer thriller. I recently filmed a serial killer thriller video. I'm not sure if that's up, but I will link it if it is. Our main character in this is Georgina Schott, also known as Geo, and when she was 16, her best friend Angela Wong, who was the most like popular, beautiful girl in school, was murdered. And it was actually by Geo's boyfriend, who would later become a serial killer. And Geo didn't tell the cops everything at the time, and unfortunately this gave him time to go off and murder other people. And right from the start, we know this, we are going into her trial for hiding evidence, and then you're reading different things where, like, from her in trial, you're reading from her in prison, and then as she gets out of prison, similar murders start to happen that have this signature of her like serial killer boyfriend, who says she's no longer dating, but from the past. And so you're reading perspectives leading up to Angela's death when she was still a teenager, which were probably my favorites. I thought those were super interesting. My issue with this book, I gave it 3.5 stars. I think the reveals and the ending were phenomenal and so well done. But this was so brutal, and it felt like sometimes it was a little unnecessary, the level of detail that the author went into. Personally, I almost put this down just because it was so graphic, so please keep that in mind. I think it is a really strong read. I think it is very intense and well written and interesting, but it is so brutal. It is, you make sure you're in a good like mindset, please. Possibly look up trigger warnings. I mean, in general for thrillers I would, but this one, I mean, it involves like nearly all trigger warnings, really. It is so brutal, and the ending I thought was definitely worth the payoff, but it was very intense. So I recommend this, but with caution. The Engagement Party by Darby Kane. This was like one of the fastest DNFs I think I've ever had. Sounds, yeah, I got like 20 pages into this. I just didn't care at all. Like, I don't know. So this is a really standard thriller setup. We have these like long lost best friends who are all going to this engagement party, and it's on an island, I think, and it's isolated, and the guest list is a real killer, and all these tropes that I personally love, but all the characters sounded the same. I was so uninterested in their stories that I just put this aside. And I know that's not much of a review, but that I DNF'd it so early, I don't have many other thoughts. I just didn't love this, and I saw that this is one of her lower rated books, so if you have a recommendation from Darby Kane, let me know, because I would definitely give this author another go. This just wasn't it for me. Same with Kill Your Darlings by Peter Swanson. Now, I read over, I think, close to 200 pages in this. This is this new release, and it's interesting because it's a story told backwards, where you know the wife wants to murder her husband after like 20 years of marriage, and you're reading like backwards, like going to the events leading up to this to see what led her to this place. And I love this concept. However, I got very far into this book and I was like, okay, we get the point. The wife doesn't like the husband. We've established multiple reasons why. We've gotten some interesting little reveals here and there. One that did really surprise me, but overall, I was just like, when does the plot, like, when are we getting going? I don't know, it took the suspense out for me, I guess, knowing how it kind of ends. So I didn't love it. I don't know, I haven't heard a lot of good things about it. Some of you were saying that when I mentioned that I didn't enjoy this book in a vlog. I don't know, let me know if you read it, but it was not my Peter Swanson. I love some of the other books I've read by him, but this one was a DNF for me. Blood Sugar by Sasha Rothschild. This main character is accused of 4 murders, but she's only guilty of 3. I ate this up. I ate this up. Now, I do think this is almost more of like a character study of a likable serial killer, which I know sounds odd, but you will understand if you read this. So our main character in this is Ruby, and she really embodies that whole I could just kill you right now thing. Like, we've all thought that before, right? You know, in the heat of the moment. But Ruby takes it to the next level, and as you, like, from chapter 1, you are sitting with her as the police show her pictures of her past victims, except for one of them who she actually didn't kill. She's determined to actually find out what happened to the person she didn't kill, and you're getting to learn her motivations and how she grew up, and it's just fascinating. I wouldn't say it's a true thriller in the sense that there's not like some huge massive reveal or twist or something in the end, but it is fast-paced and bingeable, and a character study that is so suspenseful you just can't put it down, and it's really fascinating. So if you're someone who likes thrillers and mysteries, you're interested in serial killers, this is very unique, and I would recommend it. I had a good time. It was 4 stars for me. Not a traditional thriller necessarily, but it was really fun. A DNF for me was Girl in the Rearview Mirror by Kelsey Ray Dimberg. I read 220 some pages in this, so I almost finished this book. And I am so disappointed by this book. So our main character in this is Finn, and she, which you learn she's got tons of secrets, that's not even her real name, but her name is Finn, that's what she's going by, and she is a nanny to this like 2 or 3-year-old of like Phoenix's first family, Phoenix, Arizona's first family, because it's like this politician, senator, and then his son and wife and grandchild. So she is the nanny. And she has someone approach her, a woman approach her, claiming that Philip, the father, is not who he says he's going to be, and he is running for office, and Finn tries to get more information, all while she has, you know, her own dark secrets. My problem is that by 220 pages, not much had happened outside of that one plot point and the synopsis, and I just felt like it was dragging, and I just couldn't keep reading. I was just like, I don't have any motivation to pick this up. It didn't sustain my interest. Had a really good setup. If you have other recommendations from this author, let me know, because again, I feel like I could find a good book from this author, but this one just wasn't for me. Parents' Weekend by Alex Finley. This was a new release by this author, and it is pretty good. Not my favorite. I still love The Night Shift and like Every Last Fear much more from this author, but it does involve a recurring character. We get our special agent, FBI agent Keller back, who I love. Sarah is amazing. I love her as a character. So I loved seeing her return in this book, and basically we have 5 different parents, like, or couples who are reading their perspective of, because their 5 kids who seemingly have nothing in common other than like a school project disappear. No trace. They just don't show up to this parent weekend's dinner that they're all supposed to go to. There is no trace of their kids, and they start to panic, and the FBI is called in as they're looking for these college students. And I really enjoyed this. I liked the multiple points of views. I thought it was fun to jump from parent to parent to see kind of what was happening. I really enjoyed this overall. I don't know, like the ending was good, but it wasn't phenomenal. But I still had a good time with it. Like, I would still recommend it. It just wasn't an all-time favorite, but it was like a 3.75 or so. I did find there were some interesting reveals in the end that did catch me off guard, but other ones I thought were really predictable. So I just kind of had a mixed time with this, like overall positive, overall good. I would say check it out if the plot sounds interesting to you, but it wasn't an all-time favorite Alex Finley. I think I had high expectations and it just didn't quite meet those, but on its own it's a good thriller, if that makes sense. The Writer's Retreat by Samantha Verant. This was interesting. So we basically have a main character. She's invited to this like wellness writer's retreat in the middle of the forest. She thinks this could help her make or break her career. Very much a setting I like. It kind of ended up going into some kind of a cult hinting, like kind of hinted at like kind of a cult, which I found interesting. So there's a negative history at this retreat from many years ago, and you're kind of reading points of views from the past and present. Of course, someone gets murdered. My problem with the writer's retreat is that there were so many reveals jam-packed into like the last like 20 pages or something, and some of them felt really monumental, but then some of them kind of watered down the other reveals, and I just, like when you found out who was murdered, it just kind of felt like one of many. It didn't hit hard. like I wanted it to. So it wasn't as satisfying as I wanted it to, even though the setting was creepy, the kind of mentions of a possible cult, the background, the intrigue leading up to that. I loved all of that. And there's also some stuff going on with the writer, with the main character's personal life, where she's getting like creepy text messages. There's something going on possibly there. So lots of great elements, but I thought the ending felt rushed. So it's like 3.5 stars. I wouldn't rave about it, recommend it, but I wouldn't say don't read it. Just, I don't know, take it with a grain of salt. The Lake of Lost Girls by Catherine Green. This was so good. I was blown away, so pleasantly surprised by this one. If you have other recommendations from this author, please let me know. So we have two main timelines with this. We have one in 1998 with our main character Jessica, who is an older sister, and she is at this university, and other girls are disappearing, and she is one of them who eventually disappears. You're reading her point of view, what's going on in her life leading up to her disappearance. Then about 20 years later, we're reading from her sister's perspective, Lindsay, who was one of the last people, who was the last person to knowingly see Jessica alive, but she has no idea what happened to her sister. A body was never found, and the nearby lake, they start to find bodies of these university students, and they're trying to figure out what has happened to them, who done it. There's also like a true crime podcaster element in this, which I really liked, and I had a great time with this. I thought this was so well written. I thought the reveal and ending for this, like I kind of put part of it together, but it was so satisfying. I had such a good time. A little more slow burn, more of like a mystery thriller, but it was excellent. I loved the multiple points of views. I loved the family tension and subplots and how, you know, her parents are reacting to her trying to figure things out. I just loved this. I loved it. I truly loved this. This took me in so many different directions. I loved both points of views equally, which I think is really important when you're looking for like a 5-star read like this, and this was so good. And then I have What's Done in Darkness by Laura McHugh. This one, again, more like mystery thriller, a little more slow burn, like a crime kind of thriller, but it was dark and good. So in this one, 17-year-old Sarah Beth was kidnapped one day from her farm. She's kind of sheltered. She's living in this, I don't want to use the word cult, but a very strict religious community, and so her parents have moved her there from like the everyday world, the non-religious community. So she is one of her only siblings who actually remembers this, and she's forced to like grow out her hair and wear plain clothes, and she's not very happy about it. One day she gets kidnapped, and people don't really believe her. She's dropped off like a week later, and there's mixed opinions on whether or not she was actually kidnapped. People don't really believe her. They were never caught, whoever did it. She moves out of this community, moves on with her life. 5 years later, Sarah Beth is approached by an investigator who is working on a similar rash of cases where other girls in like similar communities are being kidnapped, and Sarah Beth kind of has to confront her past. Again, I love a plot where they're confronting a past crime or their past like that. I think it's so interesting. And this was fascinating. The community dynamics are really scary. It scared me, honestly. But I thought the mystery was good. The reveal for this, top notch, really, really fascinating, and just shocking in many ways. The community dynamics were terrifying. Her coming back at one point to her community and seeing what's happening with her siblings and stuff just broke my heart. I was just like, oh, it was rough. It was rough, but you also get to read some bits from her past as a teenager, so I liked reading again both her adult and teenage perspectives. I thought they were so well written. Would really recommend this. Laura McHugh is definitely becoming a favorite. And that is everything for me today, guys. Thank you so much for watching. That felt like the longest reading wrap-up ever, but I hope you enjoyed. Please let me know what was your favorite read in July, and thanks again for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe. I do post new videos every week within the mystery genre, and I do lots of cozy reading vlogs. Thanks again, and I'll see you soon. Bye!